talked about chord progressions and how chords can progress in fourth steps, 2 to 5 to 1. That whole sequence of chord progressions is based on the intervals in a major scale. We've also talked about the harmonic minor scale with the raised seventh in order to give us a dominant 5 chord. And if we look at the roots of these chords, we discover in a parallel C scale that we've got a 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6. It starts out as a flat 7, but then we modify it to give us a major 7th. So we see that chords can move 1, 2 to flat 3. Let's put that in the key of C and see how it comes out. 1, 2, flat 3. And there's another difference in the harmonic minor scale, that is the 6 is flatted. So that's the tone we have to use when we put it in the parallel key. The 2 chord is a diminished triad, and then our 3 chord is augmented because of using the major 7ths. Alright, another question I get asked is, what if you don't know an augmented chord? The roots from the harmonic minor is just one example of where you can get different roots for chord progressions. So you've got 1, 2, and flat 3. So in our discussion of chord types, we had our triads and then we added 7ths. We've skipped number 2, 4, and 6. What you do here is take those tones, 2, 4, and 6, put them up an octave, and they become 9, 11, and 13. So now I've used all the notes of the scale. We talked about chords being suspended, where we can add a 2 instead of a 3, and a 4 instead of a 3, and there's one more tone within the octave that we can add, and that's the 6th. And we have what's called a 6th chord, and it is a non-resolving chord. In other words, it doesn't need to go anywhere. It comes in real handy when you ended a tune on a major 7th. You can resolve the tension in the major 7th by moving to a major 6th. Okay, one of the ways to look at this chord now is to invert it. Okay, so there's our C 6th chord in first inversion. Here it is, root inversion, first inversion, second inversion, and third inversion, which puts the 6th in the bass. Now we'll just take a quick look at this chord, and it looks pretty familiar. It's actually our 6th chord when you add a 7th to it. So these 2 chords, the 1 major 6th and the 6 minor 7th, have exactly the same tones in them, therefore enabling them to be used as substitutes for each other. The minor 6th, when inverted, will end up being an A minor 7 with a flat 5, or what we learned is another name for a half-diminished 7th chord. If you're in G minor, here's your 2 chord, and this would be the 7 chord of a B flat major scale. Okay, so they're substitutes for each other. A minor 7 flat 5 chord and a minor 6th substitute for each other. Now this gets real usable in old boogie-woogie patterns, where you can use a 6th. I like this first inversion because it's got the tonic on top. And changing to the 4 chord, you can simply just change this chord to minor 6. Now let's look at this in terms of this being a 1 chord. There's simply 3, 5, 6, and 1. the 6 being added in pretty freely. Okay, when we change to the 4, this is now the major 7th of the 4. There's our 4. So there's our flat 7. This tone is the 9th, or the 2nd of the 1, which is now F. There's the 3rd, and there's the 5th. So we've got what's essentially an F9 chord with a flat 7